So good evening, everybody, and welcome to Story Hour. I'm your host, Daniel Marcus. If you're a returning visitor, welcome back. And if you're new here, I'm glad you came by. The format of Story Hour is very simple. It's two writers, about a half hour each, sharing their work, telling lies. So tonight we have Curtis Chen and Tom Marcinko, and it's going to be a great program. Before we start, I'm really happy to announce that moving forward, Lara Blackwell will be sharing the Story Hour hostly duties with me. So I'm just really happy that she's agreed to do this, and welcome, Lara. It's going to be fun. The tradition here, before we get started, before we get to the goods, has been to sneak in a brief PSA. So, I don't know. Like many of you right now, with a pulse, I'm feeling just outraged and heartbroken and resolute. If any of you are fortunate enough to be able to help others financially, I've got a few suggestions. Really good place to put some of your spare cash if you have any. The Marshall Project, www.themarshallproject.org, is a nonprofit news organization that covers the U.S. criminal justice system, such as it is. The Advancement Project. Advancement Project is according to their website, is a next generation multiracial civil rights organization rooted in the great human rights struggles for equality and justice. We exist to fulfill America's promise of a caring, inclusive, and just democracy. We use innovative tools and strategies to strengthen social movements and achieve high impact policy change. Advancementproject.org. Finally, the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund, NAACPLDF.org. So any or all of those places, if you're at all in a position to help out financially, please let go of some scratch and send it their way. And I think right now, more than ever, we need stories. So on with the show. Tom Marcinko, who I went to Clarion West with, along with Nisi, many fucking years ago, a long time ago. I don't want to tell you how many because it would just be sad, but Tom's short fiction has appeared in Rosebud, Interzone, Realms of Fantasy, which I like to call Reams of Fantasy, Science Fiction Age, Ellen Datlow's late lamented EventHorizon.com, and other venues. Many of his stories are collected in the Kindle volume Astronauts and Heretics. He's currently shopping a novel, writing another one, and getting really close to earning his master's in humanities. He lives in Flagstaff, Arizona, where his 10-minute play, A Team Building Exercise, speaks to my corporate roots, was judged stage-worthy by the Northern Arizona University Playwriting Festival. And on Twitter, he is Tom Marcinko 2. So take it away, Tom.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Laura, and thanks everybody for coming out. The story I'm going to read to you was written in 2014. It was published in 2017 in an anthology from Parsec Inc. called Triangulation Appetites. I'll put the info up on it. It was edited by Frank Oreto and Douglas Gwilym. And I wrote it back then in a very different time, and I am still reading it today. So, Speak American. In Sedona, Arizona, stands an ancient McDonald's, the one with the turquoise-colored arches. When I was 10, my father keeled over dead in its doorway, heart attack while I watched. Even now, French fries trigger flashbacks. Last night, two teenagers from our side did something very bad to this very McDonald's. My job is to bring our kids back. My boss is the new ad hoc president pro tem. He brushes aside my declaration of personal baggage. Carlos, you've kept tougher pieces. Sudan, Indonesia, Orange County. Your dad was Trumer, right? They'll listen to you. Don't forget the uniform. They love a uniform. I picture the captivity those kids face. Hell, I was one of those kids. To make ourselves perfectly conspicuous, we lit up our airship, the Cory Doctorow, like a solstice tree. The McDonald's remains intact. The turquoise arch on the right doesn't look so bad. The real target isn't so lucky. The Freedom engine was, by design, the most obnoxious greenhouse gas source within hundreds of miles. Now it burns and smolders in the aftermath of our kids' media action, its pistons and gears charred motionless. Cory lights on crumbling pavement. Highway workers in Uncle Sam jumpsuits blacken the tarmac to soak up even more heat, to raise the planet's fever by one more precious fuck you fraction. We're greeted by shotguns, Confederate flags, and, swear to God, pitchforks and torches. The trimmers sing, they chant, they rebel yell, they call us Nazis, fascists, Muslims, elitists, Europeans. E-signs and hollow boards cycle tailored messages. One world gov, go home. Wear your own damn burqa. No way to United Nations rule. Give guns a chance. We're not the UN, my aide mutters under the troubled cheeps and squawks of the airship's resident animal companion, a 10th generation reverse engineered semi Archaeopteryx. It's okay, Dawkins, she says, petting his sensitive wings. But could someone please tell them we're not the UN? Relax, I tell her, it's just kabuki, a sanctioned demonstration calculated to unnerve. With staged professionalism, they contain a mob stoked to theatrically righteous fury. The soldiers carry ancient but gleaming AK-47s, Uzis, and HK-51s. Hold the silencers. The boys, complacent to the point of Zen serene, pack steroid ballooned muscles. The girls, self-starved to twigs, seem to want to turn sideways, to disappear completely. They glare with fury at everything and nothing. How bright their eyes. I lead my team down the gangplank. 15 years in, childhood survivors of political extremism goes poof. I'm forced to remind myself that I'm perfectly safe, that I am no longer age 10, that it's not my fault my father toiled for them for this. Nobody held a Glock to his temple and force fed him quarter pounders with cheese till his left ventricle caved. Screw this, had enough, out of here. The official delegation lugs guts large enough to merit their own health chips. So, should such a thing exist over here, the leader's camo-hued golf shirt strains to contain his flesh. He waggles my hand as he tries to crush my fingers. I return pressure till he rewards me with a grimace. He says, Special Envoy Carlos Geldal, I presume. Sedona True America Sovereignator Palin Berm, I presume right back. Hungry? We got fresh raptor, twice marinated and double fried. Don't ask me how we snuck prime dino meat across the blockade, and I'll tell you no lies. He winks. According to our human intel wikis, the bunker beneath the McDonald's was not part of the original structure. It doubles as a holding cell. God's apocalypse unaccountably tardy. I meet our terrorists. Gaia, 17, is an old-fashioned girl, pierced nose and lower lip, skinscape of gothic tattoos, hair as dark as her frilly ninja black camisole and chain-belted slacks. Henna-illustrated calves and thighs bear Crumb-esque depictions of scene patrons' reoccupation of Detroit's shuttered factories, banksters brought to their knees by the general strike of '39. Kim, by contrast, is the height of green sex. Kids today, with their beige woven hemp agrarian fatigue ensembles, complete with sturdy, recycled plastic boots, heel LEDs, winking to indicate constant readjustment for optimum chakric alignment. An idle hand nestles thoughtfully across to die for Amish-inspired anti-fashion suspenders. He lotus postures on the floor, staring towards a distant galaxy. What happened? I asked. Tim claims the whole thing was his idea. It was my statement, my protest against what ad hoc tolerates here. Gaia scoffs. Tim pleads at me. She's always going hyperactive on the Trumers. Did her mom lose a finger in the maquiladora occupations for us to just sit and let the people who almost crashed the ecosystem do it some more? Finally, I say, if they bother you so much, why don't we do something about it? So we slip across the border. His eyes glow with the warmth of memory. Tim glares at the guards. So Guy asks me what I brought for explosives. Where's the CE7? Where's the detonator? I tell her, hand me that lighter, that beer, that bucket of fried velociraptor the guards somehow managed to avoid finishing. It makes a hell of a bang when I toss it on the engine. It lights up the sky. They didn't need to tase us. We've been down here ever since. All they feed us is this. He kicks at an animated wrapper. Across its crumpled surface, Mayor McCheese's spunky daughter gambols, infinite looped, in pursuit of the Hamburglar's impenitent son. It was Gaia's turn to challenge the guards. Would we have pissed you off if we just simulated an attack? The guards laugh. Their names are Jeroboam and Tangeretta. Jero volunteers that he designed the Freedom Engine, art class at John Galt Community College. Tanja angles for eye contact, but breaks gaze every time I look her way. Must be my uniform at that. Our negotiations through Dawn's false and actual. Over negotiations, the food keeps coming. God help me, I try some thrice fried raptor. It tastes like chicken, drowned in sugar, then napalmed. I'm 10 again and can't get enough. I was a chunky kid before Mom slipped me across the border. Soon I feel queasy. Even so, the intricate constellation of tastes, the easy melt of flesh on the palate, the frictionless slide down the gullet, the lingering burn. It makes me want a beer, then another 38 ingredient nugget, then another drink, then I can feel the plaque brick up my arterial walls as I work my jaws. Palin, Berm, and Cabinet rake over eternally festering grievances. How the ad hoc states is not the legitimate government of America. How we try to foist on them food with genes inserted to turn them gay. And nothing personal, they don't like ad hoc sending a Muslim to negotiate because Muslims think it's okay to lie. My mother was from Belize, I say. She raised me a Mennonite. What's the difference? I steer negotiations back to Guy and Tim. They acted alone, I reiterate. The ad hoc states never troubled themselves over the Freedom Engine. Berm shoots a, come on now, look. Okay, I try to explain. The ad hoc states don't precisely enjoy true America throttling an uncatalyzed internal combustion device 24/7, 365 on aged fossil fuel stores. Nevertheless, tolerance, über alles. We view the memorial as a political statement and therefore protected speech. We take as satire the engine's stated purpose of hastening the liquefaction of glaciers so that the Trummers can watch New York City and Sodom Frisco sink beneath the waves, the cleansing rolling waves. And even if we didn't, even if we took it seriously, I did tell my prez I was wrong for this job. I should humor my guests, my hosts. Let the Trummers believe they've got us sputtering our Oregon white wine, choking on Leucovore alpaca cheese like liberals next door in a period shitcom. I fear I just screwed up negotiations. But Berm and Sparge howl like wacky teenagers, nudging and poking each other to hear their up yours quoted back at them. I had to condense it. I'm going to fast forward a bit. Berm says, this might be hard for someone who's not a straight white male to understand. I suppress a sigh. But old Gassy really meant something super special to us. I know you don't spank your children, but in our community, actions have consequences. Got something in mind? His proposal possesses a perverse elegance. My pres per tem is not going to like this. My aide, pale with shock, boards Corey with the diplomatic catch card I've been working on all night. True America's reparations bill to the ad hoc states of America to lift import and transit restrictions for a Sedona potato chip factory, which will keep their kids busy and well fed like God intends, the construction of which I will supervise. I'll rebuild the Freedom Engine too. I'm touched by the general surprise when I announce I'm staying. Dawkins has empathy enough to light on my shoulder, spread wide his beak, and shriek a mournful cry. Gaia's high decibel chant invokes the protective energy of the Sedona vortex, ancient zones of power that charge the red rocks. Chen rolls his eyes, but he's never getting over this girl in this lifetime. Berm and Sparge giggle and point over the deal they've struck. It's more than fair. I wave goodbye. Corey ascends. Berm finds a tracking anklet just my size. Fast forward a bit. Difficult lately to keep track of thoughts. Sleeping with Tangeretta might not be my best judgment call either. She was babysitting me while I tracked down a pharma distributor in Romania to supply a marginally safer source of steroids. She waited till after to mention Daddy, as in, wow, Daddy'd kill us both if he finds me like this. You've met Daddy, right? He's the sovereignator. Fast forwarding a bit, they use him for propaganda value. His blood pressure shoots up, his cholesterol is through the roof. Tangeretta smuggles news past firewalls. I tell her she's taking an awful chance. What Daddy doesn't know won't hurt him, she says, bright eyes, dazzling smile. Jeroboam defected. He was Berm's favorite nephew. But now, Jero is making art, with Gaia, no less. Their conceptual piece, Creations, links every cubic centimeter of gas belched by a projected franchise-wide rollout of Old Gassy to the extrapolated drowning deaths of the cutest polar bears they could find, cubs tagged and barcoded and GPSed by Greenpeace and Blue Packs. Fast forwarding a bit, I advised them how to get the best deals on meat, sugar, medicine, steroids, and the fuel cells they grudgingly use out of necessity to power their retrofitted pickups and Hummers. Every third vehicle is rear-windowed with decals of the kid from Calvin and Hobbes pissing on the flags of the UN and EU. In the spirit of Old Gassy, I acquired DNA tech to breed extra flatulent cattle. They feed on corn tweaked to be less filling, more vapor-prone, and attractive to hungry bugs, the better to necessitate that more acres be planted and dusted. Fast forwarding a bit, be ready tonight, we're coming for you. Thunder rumbles in the distance. That's odd. The forecast calls for clear skies. My bunker door busts open. Dawkins, brought along apparently for the good karma a well cared for animal companion generates, squawks, flapping his wings to circle the rescue party. Gaia, Tim, and Jera wear light armor and carry vintage tasers, the ones with cameras, military surplus, peace cadre retrofitted to prevent Geneva exceeding voltages. They drag me to the surface. White ovals drift lazily toward the ground. Snow up here in winter? Of all the crazy things? No. Extruded potato chips fall from an unusually bright sky. The factory was mostly automated. The few workers on night shift were marched out by Gaia and Jero. Meanwhile, Tim blew it up with a cache of old agribusiness fertilizer. Not that anybody's going to get a reference like that. I can't go, I tell them. The bunker deck and ceiling are sufficiently thoughtless to change places without consulting me. Credibility, diplomat, future, crisis? The anaconda around my chest quashes elaboration. I try to draw attention to the elephant squatting on my heart. The glowing balloon of the Cory Doctorow hovers over the rebuilt turquoise arch and the putt-putt of the Freedom engine. The medic tweaks my anti-arrhythmic drip. A few trims fire at will, naively hoping the helium of Cory will go boom. Trank darts rain from our sides, part-time volunteer sharpshooters. It'll take a tougher adversary than true America to make ad hocs ratepayers pony up for a standing army. A chute from the ship's underbelly vomits a flock of snapping bipeds, beaked and toothed, razored with day glow feathers, saurians retrofitted from the ostriches and turkeys who grace our free-range animal preserves as honored guests. Squawking, flapping, gnashing toothed beaks and claws, the neo-raptors kick up a musty wake of feathers and a jet stream of droppings. It's enough to distract the Trumer militia, which turns out to be not so well regulated after all. Instances of friendly fire abound. Gaia lights joss sticks for the dino's fallen spirits. She thanks them for their sacrifice to the greater good. They died uneaten, Gaia says. I don't have the heart to tell her they won't stay that way. As the airship flees the confusion, parts of me, stomach, taste buds, and dopamine receptors mostly, howl in unheard mourning. I've eaten my last deep-fried dino burger. Now Tanja and I face the hall of detox. How to stay strong while the poisons leach from our bodies? I know the answer. My country will help us. Life's so different on the other side. We'll be reborn in that promised time, that longed-for place, over there in the land of the tolerant, the home of the conscientious, the last best hope. We, the people, the ones who kept that more perfect union thing. America, the very idea. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tom. That was fun. Our next author is Curtis Chen. Once a Silicon Valley software engineer, Curtis Chen now writes fiction and runs puzzle games near Portland, Oregon. So yet another refugee from the Bay Area to the Pacific Northwest. I may be following suit at some point, but holding firm so far. Curtis is the author of the Kangaroo series of funny science fiction spy thrillers, and he's a contributor to Ninth Step Station and Machina on Serial Box. Curtis's stories have appeared in Playboy, Daily Science Fiction, and Oregon Reads Aloud. And his homebrew cat feeding robot was displayed in the Worlds Beyond Here exhibit at the Wing Loop Museum. So you can find Curtis at Puzzled Pint on the second Tuesday of most every month. Visit him online, curtischen.com, and take it away, man.
Okay, hello everyone. Thanks to Daniel and Laura for hosting this. I am going to read a story that this is an original I posted to the Curious Fictions website earlier this year. And the title is Cats Don't Care About Universal Basic Income. I am a cat. I don't care about most human issues. My primary concerns are eating and sleeping, and anything that disrupts either of those crucial activities is a problem. My human's name is Olivia. Not Olivia, Olivia with an A. It sounds pretty much the same when you say it, but she seems to delight in making a big deal out of anyone mishearing or misspelling it. Humans are weird. Our latest problem started after Olivia's most recent birthday. She turned 25, which I guess is some kind of important thing for humans, though she didn't have nearly as big a party as she did when she turned 13. I didn't get to attend, of course, but she did come home smelling of the amazing myriad of other humans, cooked foods, and manufactured substances. Hey, I like sampling new odors. I'm not ashamed of it. It's not a problem. I can stop anytime I want. Leave me alone. Anyway, it was the Sunday after her birthday, which had fallen on a Friday, and she had spent all weekend carousing and celebrating with her friends and classmates. Some of them even came over and played with me. That was cool. What was not cool was her bestie, Hannah, banging on the door at 9 in the morning. I was barely 3 hours into my morning nap at that point. I put forth a strong argument for Olivia staying in bed by not moving from my resting place on the pillow next to her head, but for some reason she felt compelled to roll over the other way and get out of bed to answer the door. Min Bin Monday tomorrow, Hannah shouted as the door swung open. Too loud, Olivia grumbled, turning away and shuffling into the kitchen. Hannah stepped inside and closed the door behind her. I had grudgingly followed Olivia into the living room just to make sure this was a welcome visitor and to be ready to eat if that was on offer, or to remind the humans that eating is a thing. Sometimes they forget. While Olivia fiddled with the coffee robot on the counter, Hannah dug her clam computer out from under a pile of papers and books. She brought it over to the kitchen counter, opened it, and placed it with the glowy screen and bumpy panel facing Olivia. It would take a few minutes for the panel to be warm enough to warrant sitting on, so I curled up on the couch. You're all set up, right? Hannah searched through the open and crumpled snack bags on the counter for some unbroken chips. She had a thing for only eating whole chips, and people say I'm picky. You submitted the forms and connected all your bank stuff? Yes, Mother. Olivia cradled her steaming mug of coffee with both hands. I'm serious, Livs. Hannah found something round and pink and crunched on it. If that first direct deposit doesn't go through and they can't verify that you're receiving the Min Bin payments, it's like months of paperwork and red tape to sort out. You know Darcy from stats class, she submitted the wrong forms. Oh my God, stop. Olivia put down her mug and waved her hands. It's all good. My actual mom is an actual tax attorney, remember? She puppet mastered me through the whole thing. Barely let me touch a keyboard. Hey, at least she's around. Sorry. Nah, it's cool. Hannah pointed to the laptop. Come on, check your account. I want to know how much they allocated you. This is weird, Han. I recognized that whine. That was a sound Olivia made when she didn't want to do something and had run out of polite ways to say no. It hadn't changed since she was 12, when I first decided she was going to be my human, and I had to be responsible for her. I stood up on the couch and prepared to distract the intruder. It's just money. Hannah waved another salvaged ship. Yeah, but we don't talk about money. It's just really personal. More personal than rescuing you from a frat house at 2 in the morning? More personal than driving you to that clinic in Hayward? Okay, stop. You don't need to do the whole recap of our most intimate moments. It's just money, Livs. Look, if you don't want to share, fine, but this will be a stain on your permanent record of friendship. Olivia blew out a breath, flapping her lips, and I relaxed. That meant she wasn't actually too upset about anything. But now I really was getting hungry, so I walked into the kitchen, stared at my empty food bowl, and explained the situation. Just a sec, Bailey. Olivia used her fingers to tap and swipe at the laptop until the screen showed a bunch of numbers. She turned the computer around so Hannah could see. There, happy? Hannah's eyes grew wide. Whoa, you should be happy. That's way more than minimum. She moved her own fingers across the screen. And you're going to get this every week, which means per month. Let me guess. I'm buying drinks for the foreseeable future. And chips. Hannah rattled a mostly empty bag. I expect your pantry to be well stocked when I return. Olivia is still an immature human. She would not be living alone in her own apartment if it were not for her unfortunate family situation. Her mother does make occasional visits, but since the divorce, Olivia's biological relatives have been less inclined to keep in touch. Her biological father is in prison right now, so he's completely out of the picture. I can relate. I'm a cat. Pretty much all cat dads are deadbeat dads. Anyway, I don't really care how Olivia pays her bills as long as she continues to feed me and provide a place to live with a window to the outside. I'm strictly an indoor cat, but I like to see what's happening outdoors every now and then. Humans have slow TV, I have windows. The thing I do care about is who Olivia associates with, because after many years of cohabitation, I know that she is easily influenced by the opinions of other humans. It's fine when she's swayed to try some new cosmetics because of an advertisement she saw somewhere, because that doesn't affect me. But when she gets persuaded to change something that threatens our household equilibrium, I am forced to get involved. I don't like doing it, but somebody has to, and I'm the only one around. On Tuesday, Olivia's ex-boyfriend came calling. On the bright side, at least it wasn't a booty call, but he did want something from her. What is this? Olivia said after he handed her a piece of paper. I looked at it over her shoulder. They had already exchanged the usual human pleasantries and were now sitting on the couch with beverages. Printed on the paper was a grid of numbers. It's just your trips in the car, said the ex-boyfriend. I couldn't remember his name. I didn't care that much. The ones when you weren't with me? Are you fucking serious? Olivia glared at him. I felt the tension in her shoulders and started trying to massage it out. She shrugged me off and onto the floor. I complained. I'm being fair. That's the actual power consumption for each trip as recorded by the computer multiplied by the current utility rate for electricity on each day. I use the exact guidelines recommended by the IRS. Those guidelines are for business tax purposes. We weren't a business, we were dating. Like I said, I didn't include any trips when we were both in the car. But it was my car. Do you think it's fair to make me pay for all your road trips to visit your dad in jail? Olivia stood up. You should leave now. The ex-boyfriend stood, but didn't move toward the door. Olivia, I'm just... Take your fucking vinyl bullshit and get out of here. Olivia pointed to a cardboard box by the door. You'll get your stupid money and I don't ever want to see your face again. Got it? Fine. The ex-boyfriend picked up the box of plastic discs and cardboard sleeves. I'm at the same email for pay. Get out! I yowled at the ex-boyfriend as he exited. Then I jumped onto Olivia's lap and did my best to comfort her while she cried. I've noticed that my purring often helps stabilize her moods. And it's good for both of us because she can't feed me until she stops crying. Later that night, Hannah came over again, this time at Olivia's request. The two friends sat at the kitchen table and talked while sharing a bottle of wine. Olivia told Hannah what had happened earlier with the ex-boyfriend. You're actually going to pay him? Hannah was incredulous. Jesus, I would have ripped his face off. I just don't want to deal with it anymore, Olivia said. That's what money is good for, right? Making stupid problems like this go away. If that's all he wants, if you give a mouse a cookie, he's not going to come back. Our hatred is mutual. I'm guessing he saw something I posted online and figured he could shake me down one last time. He's a fucking troll. Hannah raised her glass of wine. A toast to never seeing his dumb face again. Olivia clinked her glass against Hannah's. Never again. So what about the rest of the money? Hannah asked after sipping her wine. You made plans for celebrating yet? Maybe take a little vacay, play the ponies in Sin City, splurge on some fluvogs? Olivia scoffed. It's not that much money, Han. Come on, you'd celebrate if you got a new job, right? Same thing. It's not the same. I didn't do anything to get this money. Olivia stared down into her wine glass. I don't even know if I deserve it. Ah, fuck that noise, Hannah said, smacking a palm against the tabletop. You pay taxes, don't you? This is the deal the government makes with everyone. You're in the system, you carry the responsibility, you get the benefits. But it's so unrelated. Like, I'm getting this money just because I exist and I'm old enough? Shouldn't I have to do something for it? You did do something. You filled out a shit ton of paperwork. Not everyone takes the time to jump through all those hoops. I've just been thinking about how someone else might need it more. Like, it's nice that I don't have to worry about making ends meet now, but what about people who are worse off than I am? If it's bothering you that much, you can donate to charity. But which one? How do I choose who needs it the most? Hannah threw up her arm. Jesus, Livs, you can either want the burden of choice or you can not want it, but you gotta be consistent. How am I not consistent? MinBIM is a universal minimum basic income, unconditional distribution to all citizens. You could have skipped the paperwork, left the money on the table. And if you feel guilty about taking it, shit, it's easy to get rid of. Just walk down the street and toss a coin to some of the unhoused out there. So you're saying I'm a selfish hypocrite? No, of course I'm not saying that, Hannah sighed. I get it, okay? This is like Kubler-Ross, the 5 stages of grief. Everyone goes through this weird adjustment period when they first get the MinBIM. We've been raised to think that we only deserve money for doing something. But you want to know a secret? Hannah leaned forward. Money isn't real. Olivia frowned back at her. What? Money isn't real, Hannah repeated. She pointed at me. Look at Bailey. You think he cares about money? No, he does not. She was right. Cats don't care about money. He's a cat, Olivia said. I'm not sure exactly what her argument was there. Right. So what does he care about? Food, shelter, comfort. The bottom of Maslow's hierarchy. Okay, we get it. You went to community college. Shut up and let me explain. Bailey's a cat. He has no capacity for abstract reasoning. I disagreed audibly. It's not my fault humans can't understand my sophisticated weather prediction model. It has so far proven to be 100% accurate. I think he disagrees with you, Olivia said. Whatever, Hannah waved a hand. My point is Bailey only cares about real things, things that affect his body directly, whether he's hungry or thirsty, whether he's in pain, whether he needs to poop. So your argument is that poop is more real than money? I'm not talking about currency. Those are just tokens. I'm talking about the concept of fungible assets. Money only exists to make trade easier, but money is not a thing in itself. It's only a thing because we made it a thing. I'm either too drunk or not drunk enough for this conversation. Also, fungible, look it up. Money is only important for how we can use it to make things happen, like buying food or shoes, or persuading someone to never show his dumb face around here again. It's merely a medium of exchange for goods and services we actually care about. But having money is important, like super important. People care about it a lot. Because we've been taught to, and because this entire economic model has been built up over centuries, over millennia even. We can't get away from it, but hopefully, now that more countries are instituting some kind of min-bin program, we'll start changing people's attitudes about who deserves to have money, about who deserves to be able to make choices about how they live their life. I feel personally attacked. Olivia drained her glass. More wine? Always. The next Saturday, Olivia's biological father called. That in itself was unusual because he usually just sends emails from prison. It's apparently a big deal for him to set up a real-time conversation with anyone on the outside. Hey there, he said through the clam computer. How's my baby girl doing? Not yours, not a baby, and not a girl anymore, Olivia said. Good for her. But you know all that, and I'm guessing that's why you're calling. He made a face. Don't be like that, Olivia. I'm still your father. No, you don't get to pick and choose which parts of my life you want to be involved in. That's not what a father does. What do you want, Roy? His face got even frownier. I just need a little help, Olivia. I've got this big appeal coming up, and these lawyers aren't cheap. Besides, I think we can both agree that you owe me something. Olivia wrung her hands under the table where he couldn't see. I rubbed my face on the side of the clam computer, doing my best to remind her that she didn't need to do this. She didn't owe this person anything. We're not doing this, Roy. I just paid off one deadbeat last week, and I'm really not inclined to do it again. What? Who was it? Was it that hipster kid with all the records? Roy huffed. He got some of your money just because he got to you first? We're not doing this, Olivia repeated. If there's anything else you want to talk about, go ahead. Otherwise, this conversation is over. Roy glared at her. How's your mother? She's fine. You can call her if you want the details. You know she won't take my calls. Yeah, I'm starting to think that's a good policy to adopt. Anything else? Roy shook his head. I guess not. I'll just go back to rotting in my cell. Goodbye, Roy. Olivia closed her clam computer and buried her face in her hands. I walked back and forth on the table, purring and rubbing my head against hers. She eventually got the idea and picked me up for a brief cuddle. Then she called her mother. Roy says he's got an appeal coming up, Olivia said after they exchanged greetings. She was standing by the kitchen counter with the call on speakerphone. Oh, no, her mother said. Did he call you, that stupid so-and-so? Olivia smiled. She always smiled a lot when she talked to her mother. Do you know anything about this? I try not to care about that man anymore, but I'll pick it up and find out what's what. You put it out of your head, you hear? It's not your problem. I'm just afraid he's going to keep calling and asking for money. He knows he can't get anything out of you. Olivia, if he tries to call you again, you report it to the prison, okay? I'll send you the procedure. They can restrict inmate access to outgoing communications. She sighed. I'm so sorry you have to go through this. I had to do the same thing. He was pestering me so much when the case first went to trial. Olivia sniffled, not crying yet, but close. I feel like I have an obligation, because he's still my father. Oh, honey, that man may have provided the biological material necessary for your conception, but he has never attempted to be an actual parent. Don't let him live inside your head. You've got more important things to worry about. Like, have you given any more thought about going back to school? Mom, I just got my first NIMBIN. I've barely had time to figure anything out. Well, when you're ready, you know how to get in touch with me. And there are some very good universities here in Ottawa, by the way. Goodbye, Mother. I love you. Olivia hung up the phone and looked over at me. I was sunning myself on the windowsill by the dining table. You're lucky, Bailey, she said. You don't have to deal with any of this family crap. I told her that wasn't true since she's my family and I have to deal with her all the time. But of course, she didn't understand and thought I was asking for food. Oh well, food's good too. A few days later, Olivia came home from work with a strange man. I made my displeasure known immediately. Whoa, I think your cat hates me, the man said as I stared him down. He just takes a while to warm up to new people, Olivia said. Bailey, chill. When I didn't calm down, she put me in her bedroom and closed the door. She was wrong, by the way. I only have a problem with new people when they smell funny. This guy was giving off some heavy-duty thirst signal, and I know Olivia's not ready for a new relationship yet. Fortunately, my eavesdropping revealed that they were just collaborating on something from work and had decided to do a working dinner somewhere other than their office. They ate, they laughed, and I ran out when Olivia opened the bedroom door to retrieve her phone charger. The dining table was covered with takeout boxes and their clam computers. I decided to allow them to continue, but I kept an eye on the new guy from the couch. He still seemed shifty. Are you sure I can't pay you back for dinner? The man asked later while packing up his things. No, it's fine. I'm keeping the leftovers anyway. Making it rain with that new mem bin, huh? Olivia folded her arms uncomfortably. Sorry, the man said, taking a step backward. Good sign, recognizing when someone else needs their space. That's very important for cats. I revised my opinion of this guy to mildly positive. I shouldn't have brought it up. I know a lot of people don't like talking about it. No, it's okay, Olivia shrugged. Still uncomfortable, but trying to work out of it. I was rooting for her and reminded her of that, audibly. Thanks, Bailey. I just need to get used to it. Fact of life now, right? It's nothing to be ashamed of, the man said. You know, I joined this online group when I started getting my Minbin. It's called the Transparent Hand, which I know sounds creepy, but it's a play on words. Adam Smith's Invisible Hand of Economics? Olivia asked. Hey, yeah, the man grinned. You have been learning something at work. Olivia returned a weak smile. Mandatory training for new associates. Anyway, the idea is that the more people share information about their economic circumstances, the better we can all work together to improve the Minbin system. It's not perfect, obviously, but it's helped a lot of people so far. And that's a point of government, right? To help its citizens. I mean, it sounds like a good idea, but I imagine a lot of people are like me, reluctant to be that open about money. It's totally voluntary, and everything's anonymized. You put in your data for aggregation, but it doesn't link anything to your specific profile. Some people out themselves in discussion forums, but there's absolutely no pressure to do that. He shrugged. Just reading some of the threads really helped me get over my own insecurities. So it's like a lobbying group? Not directly. There's a separate pack for people who want to be activists. This is more like a labor union, sort of. Not exactly, because there's no collective bargaining as such, but there are tools to compare your Minbin against other people in your area and to check that against the federal scale. And if anything's off, it's easy to report a discrepancy. But only if your payments are too low, right? You'll be surprised. Lots of people report when they're getting higher payouts than the current rules say they should be. Turns out people actually do care about fairness, especially when other people know about it. Huh. Olivia dropped her arms as I jumped onto the chair she was standing next to so she could pet me. That's interesting. I'll send you the link, but no worries if it's not your thing. Thanks. See you in the morning. The man picked up his bag. Go team. They said their goodbyes, and Olivia locked the door behind him. Then, at last, she settled into the couch and made a lap for me to curl up in. She started talking to me after she finished her glass of wine and put away her phone. What do you think, Bailey? Should I check out that weird glass hand cult? I corrected her immediately. It's the transparent hand. I try not to be a nitpicker, but it does irk me when humans seem determined to get things wrong on purpose. Good point, Olivia said, rubbing my face with the back of her hand. It is more time that I wouldn't be able to spend hanging out with you. It's always good to remind her of that, because it's like that Thoreau line that people often misquote, but they get the essence of it, of his thought. The price of anything is the amount of life you exchange for it. I don't care about money because I'm a cat, but I do care about what my human spends her time doing, because she'll never get that time back once it's spent. She can always go get more money because it's all make-believe. You convince someone that they should give you money for whatever reason, and presto, you have more money. It's pretty silly if you ask me. Cats only care about the important things: good food, good sleep, and good fun. What else is there to life in the end? If you can't enjoy those things, what's the point? And why should you bother to deny anyone else their own enjoyment? If only humans would listen to cats more often, the world might be a better place. I think it's going to take Olivia some time to adjust to her new situation, but with my help, it's all going to be okay for both of us.
Right. Thank you, Curtis. One thing I don't understand is we just met for the first time tonight, yet somehow you've managed to interview my cat for your story.
We do have 2 cats of our own, so
Yeah. Oh, that was really fun. Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
All
Maybe
right,
your cat
folks.
has met him before.
Next week, we've got Kathleen Alcala and Elaine Isaac. Going to be a great program. You can stay posted about upcoming authors at storyhour2020.com and see programs you might have missed either via the recordings link. I think I'm kind of saturating my allowable storage for my Zoom account. So a better place is probably the Facebook Live link, which you can find on the Story Hour website. So until next week, stay safe, stay strong, speak out, act up, love each other, and vote in November. Be well, everybody. Good night.
Thanks, Daniel. Thanks, Curtis and Tom.
Yeah, thanks, Curtis and Tom.
Good night. It was awesome reading both of y'all.
Yeah.
Thanks
Well,
for having us
thanks.
all, and thanks for listening. And Curtis, where's that story published? Has it been published yet? Is that, has
Curious Fictions.
okay. Okay.
Cool. And it just, but is Curious a safe place to put a cat?
I don't know. Would something kill it?
Exactly.